Welcome to the SLUSH podcast, the only place on the internet where we cover toddler toys to movie reviews and all of the spoilers in between.
Hello, dino-ding-dongs. I'm a little leggy today, but welcome back after a great hiatus. Matt's been busy with kid stuff. I was on the East Coast, and then I was on the way West Coast, and now I'm back in Toronto.
You're everywhere.
This is the first weekend in like a month that I've been off.
Whoa, that's crazy. See, you've been insanely busy too. Been going all over the place.
Dude, it's wild. We cut up me and one other guy. I cut up 2 tons of set, and he hauled 2 tons of set
Oh
down
my
to the garbage.
God. How was your
Yeah,
back?
it was wild. My hands, man, from the recip saw were just like,
Crazy. That is a magical saw, though.
yeah. Dude, saws all.
My dad used it to cut apart a mattress. It was a disaster. It went everywhere. Anyways, I'll let him tell that story.
So, we got some news, ding-dongs. We were talking about the direwolves. Apparently, that's not all
It's
cracked up to
true?
be. It's like a debatable
shit.
thing. So, Beth Shapiro, who's like the person we've referenced before on the podcast, and like the head of genetics at Colossal Biosciences, and she's done it all. She's like tried to take DNA out of amber. She's done all
That's
kinds of crazy
insane.
shit. But she has described them as like they were gray wolves with 20 gene edits. And then the kind of official statement from her about this whole situation is, we are using the morphological species concept and saying if they look like this animal, then they are the animal.
How do you feel about that?
So I don't know. It's interesting because I also this other guy, which I wrote down his name, Dr. Rollins, who's a paleogeneticist from the Otago University, which I've never heard of Otago University. So if this is like an AI thing, but it came from the BBC, he just straight up said they're hybrids.
Oh, that's still cool though that they're doing that.
Yeah, and like there's arguments to be made about the validity of like why are they doing it? Are they doing it because we really need dire wolves and mammoths? Or are they doing it to try to refill an ecological niche?
And what is their like official answer to that?
Well, I think most of their work are on things like the thylacine and like the dodo and like other animals that were extirpated from the world relatively recently. And the feeling is that by reintroducing them to those ecosystems, we can do some good to those ecosystems. So does the dire wolf and the mammoth fall into those categories? I don't know. But they definitely drum up funding.
I don't know. I mean, as long as no matter what, this is gonna sound really fucked up, but no matter what, it's gonna happen. People at some point in the future, including now, they're gonna have the technology, just like in Jurassic Park, to do this shit out of their garage, you know? It will happen. Like, it will become a technology that's not impossible to get your hands on, and no matter what, it's gonna happen. So, this is just the beginning of us seeing the changes, I guess. What do you think?
So that was that little piece of business, and like my references for that are newscientist.com, which is fine, but it was also reported by other news agencies like the BBC and
What do
stuff
you
like that,
think of
so
that,
it
though?
feels legit. I don't know, man. It's weird because like at what point does a thing stop being a thing and become another thing? Like in taxonomy, there's like, what do they call it? There's like lumpers and there's splitters. So there's like guys that say, no, this is a subspecies, this is a subspecies, this is a subspecies, this is a subspecies. And there's people that say those things aren't that actually different enough to justify being all separate. It's a little bit like language, right? Like it'd be like saying that Newfoundland English and Cape Breton English and Nova Scotian English and Toronto English and Quebecois English are all distinct languages.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Does it seem like do you think people
So
are I don't know, would you consider it quote unquote splitting hairs at that point, or is it like, you know,
I think it's important that I think what the most important part is that uh like the organization like Colossal, and it seems like they're doing a little bit better of a job of it now, get out in front of it and don't
mm,
misrepresent it. They did not they have not cloned a thing, which is an important thing to say.
wow. So weird hearing that because it seemed like the news from like National Geographic and the way it was presented, they were like, we cloned wolves. Like this is what we did. It's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, no, it sounds like more what they did is they had identified things in dire wolves that separate them from gray wolves genetically, and then they altered those gray like they altered wolf genomes in a similar way. And we've talked like people have talked about this like on the dinosaur side of it with like taking chickens and trying to alter them to like have dinosaur
That I did know
attributes.
about. And you know what? Ever since we went to the wildlife park here in Nova Scotia and I was looking at the ostriches, is that what they were, Cora?
Emus.
Emus, and we're looking at their legs, and I was like, "Fuck." Jurassic Park has either made me insane, and I'm just seeing dinosaurs everywhere, or those look like dinosaur legs. You know, it was really weird. They did look like dinosaur legs. Honestly, it like took me out of it for a minute. I was like, "Whoa!" Like that did happen. There were dinosaurs. Um, but yeah,
The other piece of news that kind of kicks in, and like this is from way back in Jurassic Park. But do you remember when they were talking about like Biosyn traveling with like airborne rabies on a plane and like how unregulated that whole
yes,
thing was? And they were just talking about how reckless uh these organizations like these unregulated organizations
yeah,
were being. Well, there was a news article recently, and this one I got where I wrote down where I got it from. It was all over the news, but I think I also got this from the BBC because I use the BBC
BBC.
a
Why
lot.
not?
But two people from China smuggled in some potentially dangerous fungus into the
Huh?
US. Their intent was to take it to the University of Michigan and use their labs. Apparently, these people have been working with this fungus for a very
Huh?
long time. But the fungus is Fusarium graminearia. I don't know.
So it's bad fungus,
Um,
I'm guessing.
yeah, it's in they smuggle in small bags, transported in a
But why?
backpack, wrapped
Why
up in
wouldn't they just go
tissues.
through the proper
Because
channels?
I don't know. Well, so the scary part, like the FBI and the American coverage of it is that the fungus is also known as head blight and is classified as a potential terrorism
Right.
weapon.
Okay. Oh, no.
So the news is a little bit out about how um, there's some people downplaying how potentially dangerous this was, but it's interesting because like in the article it said the guy was actually intending to clone this fungus for more experimentation,
Oh,
which just like really felt like it hit on top of like like the whole thing's super sketchy. The dude was like and like coming from China where he already studied this thing, was going to the University of Michigan where he was going to sneaky use their labs to study it further.
yeah, that has, like, Jurassic what is it? Jurassic World 3 written all over it, you know?
It's like Jurassic World meets um The Last of
Oh,
Us.
interesting. Yeah, that's fucked to think about. You know, then that's the way, when you're reading news like that lately, from reading Jurassic Park and being just learning about this stuff a little bit, just like the surface whatever from the book, it makes you a lot more like holy shit when you see things like that in the news because a lot of people reading it who don't have any like interest in cloning and stuff like that and dinosaurs or not dinosaurs but cloning, but they wouldn't think much of it. Like nobody really, I mean, everybody was kind of freaked out that they cloned the wolves in the news, but we were all pretty accepting of it. Nobody was like, "Ah, I don't believe it." We were like, "Yeah, they clone wolves. Like, of course they did that, you know? Why wouldn't they do that this year?"
How how many years ago was it? Like, when did they clone Dolly the sheep? Like, the early
Oh, yeah, I
90s?
remember that. Shit. That's crazy.
So that's like, it's like relatively like cloning itself is like relatively old news.
Yeah, because the sheep was it was the 90s and Jurassic Park came out in 90. What year did the novel itself come out?
89 or
What?
something, wasn't it? I
Really?
think it was
That's
89.
insane. You know what? It makes sense though. Mine is 1990, but maybe it's a reprint. I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyways, the point is cloning's insane. Dinosaurs are cool. Welcome to the seventh iteration, right? That's our intro. That was all
You've had all the
that
wo
was all leading up to the intro.
the the real world craziness, and now we're getting back we're the crazy part is we're finally wrapping up
I
this book.
know, like I know. I wish we'd gotten to do the seventh iteration a long time ago, but at the same time, it's really simmered in my brain and, like, settled down as well. Because I re-listened to it randomly, and then I haven't heard it for, like, a week or 2. And then I'll be like, "Oh, forgot," and I'll re-listen to it again, and I'm like, it seems like I mean, okay, let me just say, my one-word review of the 7th iteration we'll see what yours is, but, like, mine is it doesn't seem like the rest of the book. It seems like there's all of Jurassic Park, and then the 7th iteration is, like, I don't know. I'm not like it's not a criticism of it at all, like, I like it, but it just seems like we went from crazy action and stuff to, like, back way down.
Well, I think it's fair to say that, like, there's good reason they left it out of the movie.
Mm. Ian Malcolm.
But I think it kicks off at the beginning, like, because every time it says, like, the 7th iteration, and then it gives you, like, a little spiel, like, this one's actually a Malcolm quote, and it's like, "The mathematics will demand the courage to face its implications." So I think this is supposed to be, like, the people on the island taking back the island in some kinda meaningful way, and, like, now they're like, things are back in control, even though it's not in
No,
control.
I don't know. It's kinda crazy.
But, like, everything about this book has been, like, we're way like, no, we've got no control over everything, so the fact that we've, like, now are like, "We're gonna take charge," like, I think that feels very foreign in this book and why the 7th iteration maybe doesn't land as
I don't know, like,
naturally.
Grant is really aggressive, and he grabs Gennaro at one point. This is weird, and
Mhm.
then Hammond has just such a subtle, like, quiet little death on the hill. It's so weird, and Ian Malcolm I mean, I know that we're getting into spoilers, but, like, anybody who's here who's read the book obviously is like, Ian Malcolm is allegedly because I heard he's in the novel for The Lost World, right? So I guess he somehow
Yeah.
survives even though I thought they said he was dead in this. It's weird.
Somehow, Malcolm returned.
Oh my god, that's such a great reference. Oh shit, well done, sir. Yeah, and like the kids are playing like T-Rex over some crazy speakers and like scaring people. Like I don't know, it's just crazy. Like it seems so crazy.
But also, like, that is, like, the most amusement park feature of this whole park, of this, like, the idea that you could, like, have a dinosaur noise and just
Like
scare the
the
shit out
he's
of
scared people to
tourists.
death, literally. Like it's funny because at one point, uh, even Hammond is like kind of like having these thoughts of like, oh, these grandkids of mine are like little shits. And then they kill him.
I wrote that
Oh,
down.
really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait to get to that. But yeah, it's just ironic they're the ones who end up his demise. Like it isn't. It's so. I don't know. It's weird. It's good though. Like it's not bad. But anywho,
How did you feel about this idea, like, that Malcolm's putting forth? Like, there's a whole, like, "We can save the world," or "We need to save the world," and Malcolm's like, "We don't need to save the world. Like, the world's gonna be here long after
yeah.
we're gone."
Um, it's just funny because that's such a long speech in the book that I was just like, thought he was like about to go unconscious here, but he like does this insane long crazy speech. But yeah, I get it. Like there was a guy I used to work with, and he would always argue with people saying that like it doesn't matter what we do because technically the planet's gonna be here, it will keep spinning on. Plants will just override everything, atmosphere will change X amount of times again, many, many times. So yeah, I get what he's saying. I get it. It's true. Although I think right now we probably do have the technology. I think. Like if we wanted to like really fuck the planet up, I'm sure we could do like like the core to bring it all of that. It's the core. It's all about the core. John's favorite movie.
I don't know, dude. I think like there is like a thing that like if we just turn like the Earth into like a nuclear wasteland, like something's gonna evolve out of that nuclear wasteland. And so it's funny, like what is our like destruction is literally the catalyst event for something
Yeah,
new.
it's true. I mean, we really haven't been around. The dinosaurs were around for so long. Even though we know, we don't really know. We can't really fathom that amount of time that they were here. Like it's crazy. It's insane. Um,
And like even look at places that we say are like inhospitable now, like the bottom of the ocean, the places that have had like massive nuclear accidents, you know, not just the depths of the ocean, but parts of the ocean that are subject to geothermal and chemical. Like there's all these places in the world that people are like, there's no way anything could possibly live here. Halifax
yeah,
Harbor, and then people go there and there's all kinds of shit living
yeah.
there.
Well, even Chernobyl is like being reclaimed by nature right now. Like it is happening, and
Life
life does
finds a
find a
way.
way. Although I would not go down to like the elephant's foot in the basement under reactor 4 and lick the elephant's foot. I don't think it's that safe yet. But someday somebody's gonna lick that.
John,
John,
this is a total segue. But have you ever seen the videos of the guys that like go like there's like they're like a bunch of teenagers. They probably don't now because war.
God.
But they would go into like explore Chernobyl. And at one point they sent like a dude into the water and he had like it was just like a literal fishbowl that they had put an air hose in and like a
What?
bicycle pump. And like the dude was trying to dive and I'll
That's
send you the link.
insane.
It's
I
ridiculous. It is actually
Well, not to
insane.
completely sidetrack this entire podcast, but there are videos on YouTube where there is a guy and his team, I forget his name, but he's one of the few people who have actually gone and video documented walking through a reactor 4 and actually showing like he gets up like they're standing right in front of the lid that blew off and it like came crashing back down into the floor like sideways, and it's there with all like the rods out of it, and it's insane. Like all the markers are there from the helicopters that drop them there, and like you know in the 80s when that happened. And it's kind of crazy because that I think that was like maybe 20 years ago they did that video, so it was still like it's terrifying footage and it's all staticky from the radiation.
Yeah.
um yeah, people are insane. We'll probably just keep being crazy. Elon Musk will somehow build a Death Star or something. But do you think we could destroy it if like we had to? I feel like if the whole
I
you
don't know,
don't
dude.
think we could destroy a planet possibly?
You gotta think, man, like, even if we tried to go like the
Mm.
Armageddon route, like we haven't even drilled that far into the Earth's core. Like, I don't think whatever that Russian site is, like, I don't think if you put a nuke down that would
Isn't it
even.
like a pliable material once you get like X amount of kilometers down? Like, isn't it basically like liquid?
Yeah.
I know it's molten lava, but isn't it like there's another thing that I've heard it described as because it's like the pressure is so great.
Well, that's what I heard too. Is like I just watched a thing with this the other day where like they were talking about that site in Russia, and they said like the big problem was is like once they got so deep, the Earth kind of acted more like a polymer, and it was binding up on the drill head, and they were breaking the drill heads. They
That's
like
crazy.
there were other reasons, like it was the Soviet Union doing it, and when the Soviet Union fell, like there was no more money to dump into this
Mm.
stupid project. So like who knows? Maybe if they had first world country, I say first world in the sense of first, second, and third world. Um, maybe if they had first world resources, maybe they would have got deeper. But I mean, to what end? Do you
Well,
know what I
it's gonna
mean?
make you wonder too, like, what don't we know that other private companies are doing now that and getting away with? Like, you could that's the crazy thing about seeing how far you could dig into the earth. You could do that from like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of spots that people wouldn't even realize it was happening at, you know? I don't
Mhm,
know. It's weird to think about. I love that we're talking about going down into a planet and it's all from Jurassic Park. But it's true though.
it's all about
'Cause
the
I don't know, I
core.
saw this Nova documentary, and they said if we wanted to destroy a planet, the most bang for our buck was, like, this massive cylinder, and it would have to be fired out of, like, a railgun built in space, and you have to fire it at X amount of
Mhm.
velocity at the center of it or something, and, like, you could actually detonate it. That's what I saw on this Nova show. But, I mean, it has to be going, like I forget the speed, it was pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, and like the other part of this is like if you want to get into like the real mind fuck of
Mhm.
this all, is like what happens if okay, so we build the craziest rail gun that's like stack a cylinder with 1,000 nuclear warheads inside of it, and we shoot it and it goes straight to the center of the earth and explodes the earth. Well, like people believe that earth was seeded with life from comets. So even though like earth doesn't exist, doesn't mean that the life on earth wouldn't transgress onto some other kind of populating some other planet. You know, like we're getting a real butterfly effect
Mhm.
shit there, but like,
No, I know what you mean. It's kinda like, why wouldn't there be, you know, there's gotta be life out there somewhere, for Christ's sakes, you know? Contact was really interesting because I don't remember if I talked to you about this or not, but in the novel, they, the channels that they use for the machine that they build to travel, they find out that the aliens at the end of the movie aren't the ones who actually built them, like, they inherited them from another, like, uber race of, like, engineers that made the universe and the galaxies, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And you never really get into that, but, you know, it's kinda weird to think about things like that, it's weird. Even Crazy Musk, he posted a thing the other day on X, actually yesterday, and it described, like, the most powerful machine that we as humans can conceive of making right now, and it was like they had an animation of it, and it was, like, way out in, like, the cosmic web that's the size of this machine, and it's like a spinning thing using dark matter, and it's you can just basically pull from galaxies and like use them as fuel for it. Like it was fucking crazy the scale of it. But that's the biggest machine that people have ever, you know, with what we know worked on.
that that's actually like
Yeah,
supervillain
totally.
shit.
He'll probably make one, you know. But yeah,
Uh-huh. Anyways, back to
back to
Jurassic
dinosaurs.
Park.
Uh,
uh, so then we get into Under Control for the first time in this friggin' book.
we do. I mean, kind of.
Oh, this is a like because we've talked about this before. Like, how many friggin' people were on this island? And the very first thing is they figure out like of 24 people on the island, they figure 8 people were
Right.
dead, which is not nearly as many as
Uh,
you would think. Well, I guess 8 people are dead and 6 are missing.
what do you think of that? I feel like,
I mean, I still think that seems like a small amount of number for people that they need on the
yeah.
island.
But didn't we talk about it before? Did people actually leave on the boat for the storm or did they stay?
No, they never there's never any talk about that of like people of like downsizing.
So weird.
Like it wasn't like in the movie where they're like, everybody needs a day off, everybody off the boat.
Oh my god. What is it Sam Jackson says in the movie? He's like, "Stop what you're doing and leave now."
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the movie. Um, yeah, it's weird. I mean, because Ian is about to go into a coma because he's been like, I don't know, slowly dying, I guess.
Yeah, we like that we
Doing lots of
actually
speeches.
just realized we get into like his last words not so
Yeah,
too long.
he has this
Last
whole, oh
words.
my gosh, in this, that's cool. In my what's it called? My ebook thing. I didn't have all these pictures. Oops. I never saw those before ever. That's cool.
Mhm.
It's like the control stuff for the computer. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
neat.
I'm still mad about Star Beast when they talk about, like, say there's a triangle carved into the console and they drew a triangle. It's like, wait, like, are you kidding
I
me?
know.
Like,
There's lots of questions I still have about Star Beast. It's weird because they say there couldn't be indigenous life from the planet, yet there's a pyramid there. So they're implying somebody else landed there a long time ago and built it, right? And left that there as a trap.
yeah.
But why? That's to Prometheus. We're like, we're gonna talk about Prometheus today. We should do that actually. Sorry, but yeah. So seventh iteration. Um,
This is also the part where, like, so they're like they've kind of gotten all their shit together.
it's
The
a
hell's
seventh
that?
iteration title page. It's the what do they call
Oh,
it again? Yeah,
it's
the fractal
fractals,
curve
isn't it?
thing. That's cool.
And this is where they talk about the dinos reaching equilibrium.
Right. Because they're all out and together in the park, right? For the first time mingling. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so they talk about, like, raptors attacking, like, herds of dinosaurs and
That's
shit.
crazy. I wish we could have seen that.
Important to note that we think that all the feral raptors, like, all the insane bred raptors are dead, right?
I think so, yeah. They're definitely dead. Side note, I saw a screenshot in the new trailer for Jurassic World Reboot or Rebirth. Ha, that's funny. Oh my god. Um and he had the thing with the egg in his hand and I was like, "Are they going to do that scene too?" That's crazy. He's
Mhm.
going to inject the eggs with the glowing shit. So cool.
The new raptors look crazy though,
Yeah, they
right?
have like they're more bird-like now, aren't they? Or am I crazy?
I think they got wings and
Really?
all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That should be terrifying. Um
Did you also notice that Muldoon seems sober now?
yes.
Like, I actually wrote that down
Yeah, they
as a
don't make
note.
any points of saying that he's, like, being drunky. That's what I mean, it seems like a different, like, pluck from another story, this part of the novel. 'Cause Muldoon seems almost out of character now, like, he seems like earlier Muldoon, you know? I liked
Mhm.
drunky Muldoon, he was
And this
great.
is this is the part where Grant loses on Gennaro too. Because I wrote Grant done with Gennaro and his corporate shit.
It's so true, though.
But I think he's a little bit cooked though, because like I'm like, I don't think there's any good reason to go count those dinosaurs. But they're
No!
like, we gotta make sure
It
we get
doesn't
them
make any
all.
sense.
But how do you know there's like you got no like there's raptors out running around the
Your
park.
island is a
So what, you're gonna
mess,
count a
Mr.
nest?
Gennaro. I love
Like
that line. Oh my god. I know, when they were like, "Yeah, no, like, we need to do this before they fuck this island up," and they're trying to convince Gennaro, and me as the reader, I'm like, "But do you really need to just go down to this hole in the ground and, like, hang out with some raptors? You don't even know what's gonna happen. You could all die. And for what? To count the raptors? Like, what the hell are we talking about here?" You know? Um But yeah. Hey, as Sam says in Transformers the movie, no risk, no reward. Sorry. We've been talking about Transformers at work a lot. It's been pretty bad. Henry said there's this guy who goes to concerts for Linkin Park as Optimus Prime, and he just stands there. I know,
incredible.
I would die if I saw that. It's-
Did you see there's like a Transformers band in
no.
Toronto?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I would love to see them. They were gonna come here.
Shout out to
Yeah, I
those
think they're called
motherfuckers.
Cybertronic Spree, right? I think it's what they're called. Yeah, their
Yeah.
costumes are wicked. Yeah, I was really
Yeah.
impressed with them. Wow, we are going all over the
Yeah, the
place.
more I look at my notes the more I look at my notes, the more I realize how unhinged this is. Because like screw corporate Gennaro, and then it's like, "We found a bunch of
I
gas
know, in this
grenades."
unmarked they're like, "That isn't on the map," and they're like, "There's weapons there, we know it." What do you
You think when they were, like, fighting with Gennaro about, like, Gennaro wanting a rocket launcher, that they would have been like, "We got it covered. Like, don't worry about it. We're not gonna give you the keys." but
Yeah,
we
they
got
could
it
have shut
covered.
him up. Like he wouldn't have talked about it so much. Dude, I didn't even okay, this I haven't looked through this part either because it's I've been using my ebook in bed, but there's like the count of all the dinosaurs. Do you have that in yours? That's so cool.
I don't have my book nearby because I do the
Oh
audiobook.
man, it's so cool. It tells you how many T-Rexes there are and Stegosaurus. There's only 4 Stegosaurus in the whole park.
Are there more than 2
No, just the
T-Rexes?
2. And Stegosaurus, there's only 4,
Because that was
what?
the thing. I was watching Jurassic Park Dominion last night, and I was like, "Is that Rexy? How many Rexes are here?" Like, I don't know, man. That
That's
movie,
definitely a
like,
Rexy.
you can almost do without the first half of the movie.
I It's funny you say that you were watching because I watched the ending the other day on YouTube, and it was the big dino fight with the thing stabbing through and the T-Rex, like, assisting,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Man, how is Rexy even alive still? Like, wouldn't she be really old at this point?" That's crazy old. But
that's why I'm not sure because, like, there's a cutscene afterwards with, like 2 T-Rexes and an infant. So I'm like, is it the doe and buck from the other island?
I don't know. I don't remember this is in the movie, but do they show the whole part where they fight and then the mosquito gets the blood in the movie, or is that just the trailer?
I feel like
Yeah,
it's a trailer.
they released it at IMAX. It was supposed to be a special trailer, and it shows the origin story of Rexy, and you see her
Mhm.
back in her prime during that era, and she fights that dinosaur again, I believe, and loses. And then you see the mosquito land next to her eye, her dead open eye, and it takes the blood out, and then it's stuck in the amber, and that's when they use to make her like that's Rexy cloned from that dino. Yeah, and
That's
that whole
wild.
ending where, like, she fights the is it called the Megasaurus or something? I can't remember.
No, I know it's something like it's more
Gigantosaurus or Titan, I don't know.
yeah. It's like
Yeah, it's got, like,
Gigalotosaurus or
some really
something.
supreme name, and anywho, that was supposed to be their rematch, right? That's why it goes in on her eye her dead eye, but then this time it opens again, you're like, "Oh shit, she's alive," and then she takes it down with that other weird fucking praying mantis dinosaur. Get this, there's 37 velociraptors that should be in Jurassic Park. So that must be counting all the babies?
Well, so they go and they when they count the babies. No, man.
Yeah.
What what
This
numbers
is,
are
like,
those?
expected
Be
292, so this is the total that spit out in the middle of the book, right?
so that must be like that the numbers that are so this is crazy. So how many velociraptors did you say were there?
37.
So 37, and then they go and count the raptors that they
Mhm.
can't see. So let's say the computers counted 37 raptors. When they get into we've jumped a little bit ahead now. When they're in the nest, they count 33 babies
Huh,
and then 22
huh.
juveniles, and then they count 2 adults supervising them.
That's way more than 37.
That's like almost 80 raptors on this fucking island.
So there's a lot of raptors. I'd say there's more.
Did nobody ever see a raptor and was like, "Oh, this isn't where that's supposed to be?" Like,
Do
you
you know what's
know what I
even
mean?
weirder is when they go down into the nest, they're hiding at first, but then when they come out on the beach, they're like, it's suddenly Grant and them are on the beach, and all the raptors are lined up, and it's like, do they not see them? Like, before they were in a cave hiding, but now they're on a beach. How do they not see them? Like, the raptors would see them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and dude, there were like 3 raptors on that boat. There's like 100 raptors on this island.
Oh, man, we need somebody to do an official raptor count for us at this point, because 'cause we're lost.
It doesn't even make sense though, because they're talking about equilibriums and stuff like that. And it's like you got 300 dinosaurs on this island, and a third of them are predators.
Oh my gosh, even the version number of the animals is on here. Isn't that crazy? The Tyrannosaurus Rex was on version 4.1. So does that
But
means
that
they're
play,
on the island in Rebirth, right? The ones before that?
I mean, if they didn't die, yeah,
I think
I'm
that's
into it.
cool. Um, that's the highest version is the no, T-Rex, micro, I don't know. Some of them just have question marks, like The velociraptors, their version is just question marks. They don't have a version number. Hmm, weird.
Maybe it's because those are the ones that they've identified in the
Oh,
wild.
no, yes, it must be, because this is the recount. Because this is when they're like, "Oh, what the hell? There's fewer animals now," and Grant said, "Probably the park is finally coming under control." So,
And we're not including the one that Grant put in the cage that they end up doing the
don't
thing
is
with.
did they feed that? I can't remember. No, they put the necklace thing on it, right? The necklace, the collar.
Yeah, so this is actually like interesting enough, like the same kind of work that Colossal Bioscience is doing in like when they're trying to reintroduce an animal that's been extirpated from that environment, they talk about having to remove the competitors, right? So like a lot of these islands are now infested with rats, goats, cats, things you don't that compete against like things like dodos and tortoises and yada yada. So what they do is it's called the Judas technique, which is exactly what they did. And it's important because we talked about this raptor. We were like, what did Grant do with this raptor? And this is the one that they put in the cage, remember? And like they gave it some water and shit. But they put a collar on it, like a tracking collar. And they do this with real animals. And like they'll catch an animal, put a tracking collar on it, and then that animal will lead it back to the colony and then they'll exterminate
That
the colony.
Oh my god. I don't know why
Uh,
I thought that was so funny.
but also like, did you notice the part where they're like, yeah, like Gennaro's like, this one's different because it changes
That was
colors.
cool. I'm glad that it seems like they really use this as the well that they're going back to for everything for the movies. Like, they have that in the Indominus Rex, right? That it camouflages. That's so cool.
Hmm.
That they took that kind of, not really, kind of basically from this, right? Like, that's what that's from, isn't it?
But yeah, but it leans into what we've been saying the whole time too. Is like these like wild raptors are not like the
Yeah.
psychotic
I
raptors.
love that they're psychotic raptors.
Like, dude, like no, like they're totally like
Yeah.
unhinged. like not even just like, oh, we're getting back at humans, but when they released that baby raptor, which is another fucking raptor that's not in that count. Oh, but it was like the one they had, like that they had grown, like the Virgin 4
Yeah.
point whatever. And like they send it towards like the unhinged raptors and they just
That
tear it
was so
apart.
sad.
That's how you know like they're like out
I
of their
felt terrible for
mind.
the baby raptor because all the baby raptors and the juvenile raptors and the elder raptors get along great at the end of the movie. I was happy to see that, or book. Um,
Well, you gotta like it makes you wonder too, like we've talked about this where I think those raptors are unhinged because they're just trapped in a tiny cage and treated like
yeah,
garbage. So you have like a juvenile raptor that was part of this breeding program and seems like relatively friendly to Tim. And then you have like the crazy unhinged raptors, and then you have the wild raptors that also seem
yeah,
friendly. So the only kind of like, the only thing that's different is being kept in a tiny cage and fed beefalo or whatever the hell they feed them.
yeah. Who's hungry?
What else did I write? Oh, and then this is also the part where they finally explain how Grant figured out that they were changing sex for the whole frog amphibian
Right.
DNA.
That's interesting. I don't know why, but like the fifth time around when I read that, I was like, so when there's no like opposite sex, after a while, it'll just generate itself because it's needed, basically. Fucking
Hmm.
weird. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's also some animals that will like again like Jurassic Park Dominion that can like reproduce asexually, where they like create like a clone of themselves, which is what Blue did in
Fuck,
Jurassic
I
Park
gotta watch
Dominion.
that again. You're making me remember. I don't remember that. Can't remember. All I remember is them in the fucking winter cold, and she scratches him, and he's like, "Something's wrong, girl." Uh, but it's cool though. I like it. I thought it was cool. We almost bought. Side note: Bennett a Power Wheels. It's blue with wheels, and you just ride the
That's cool.
Velociraptor around your yard. But it actually has a Jurassic World Power Wheels, and we're like this close to
That's
getting it. Can you imagine? You
that's
see my
awesome. I
kid
love that.
riding a velociraptor around my yard, you'd be like, "That's Matt's yard. That's definitely his yard."
Yeah, dude, you ride your motorcycle around like you're like Owen
Oh my
Grady.
god, that would be so funny. So good. Oh,
They make incredible Christmas cards.
I think it would be a hit, that's for sure. I would watch it. Um, I don't even know, fuck, what happens. When does John Hammond die? How far into that?
So that we're just getting up to that part. So like we just have like the ding dongs making all the plans to go see the raptors, and that's where we get into like the Judith, like them putting the collar on the
Right.
baby raptor and it changing colors. I did write down, does Grant just want to see some raptors? Like, what is going on here?
I feel just as
Um
concerned as Gennaro. I'm like, "What the fuck's going on here? Like, why are we doing this?"
but then we get into almost paradigm, and this is where like Hammond's like stressing out. And Hammond asks if he can like leave.
Right.
And then he's like the whole walk, all he's doing is blaming everybody for his
It'll like,
problems.
everyone.
And he's got total faith in the park, even though all the people he hired who were the best at the job, like,
I
couldn't make it
know. He's
happen.
even blaming, what's his name? The doctor who's with Malcolm? Fuck. Like, "Why
Yeah,
should I ask him if
Harding.
I should leave? I'm the boss." And it's like, "You are insane, sir. Just chill."
You know what's interesting that's never kinda come up? I don't recall it coming up in the second book, and it's definitely never come up in the movies, which makes a ton of sense, is that he says that they have 2 separate vaults in Palo Alto with dozens of frozen
Oh, I don't
embryos.
remember that.
Yeah, and he like, you would think that that would like, you think that the sequel would touch on, be like, okay, so the first part didn't work, but what are we gonna do with these embryos? And like fucking war triceratops or something. But like,
That I wanna see. Yeah. Yeah.
and then I wrote like, isn't the definition of stupidity is trying the exact same thing while expecting better results?
Some Cody philosophy woven into Jurassic Park. I like it.
And
Yeah, it's weird.
then I did also write that he runs into that Tekin, was it? Tekin workman, and he just like has nothing but disdain for him.
I
It's like
know.
racist.
He just walks right by him. It's like, this is one of the only other people that survived the past day, dude. Like, maybe give him a hug. Maybe apologize.
Dude, homie is like out there, like I assume he's out there just like picking up branches and shit. But like very real like, there's like I like definitely some of the people he
Oh,
knows are
yeah.
dead. And he's just out there doing his
He's like, "For
job.
my
Like,
family,
what the
it's fine," you know?
it's
I need a
wild.
spin-off of those people.
And this is where they hear well, one of the games is like a spin-off like that, where it's like somebody that got left
Oh,
behind on the
Jesus.
island.
I mean, that's what happens at Camp Cretaceous, really, with Jurassic World.
Yeah, but I think there's like one of the scientists gets left on the island in the
Oh,
PlayStation game.
shit. I could see that happening.
And this is the part where they hear the T-Rex and Hammond panics, and that workman's like hauling
Yeah,
ass away.
yeah, and he's on his little, path to his bungalow, and he gets off the path because he freaks out.
Yeah,
He never made it to the bungalow.
yeah, and yeah, he falls and breaks his ankle. But this is the part too where like he realizes it's the kids like just dinking around in the fucking control room, and he's like, I never should have brought those kids. Like I just wanted to bring them so they wouldn't like destroy
Yeah,
the park. So like, it's like him like he doesn't give a shit about the kids. He's just there because
such
he's
a
like
villain.
his persona and trying to keep the park like open. Like he's totally exploiting
Yeah,
them.
he's such a villain in the book. It's like a completely different character, really, than the movie.
And I wrote down Hammond has never showed any real concern for the kids. Certainly not nearly as much as he does for his park slash
Maybe
dinosaurs.
that's what he views as his true children are the things that he's made like that. Ooh, that's a deep cut, bruh.
Maybe.
Um, yeah, that's so weird. It's funny that the divorce carried over from the novel into the book or in the movie. There's just so many
Mhm.
things that have been cut, but they're like, keep the divorce. Spielberg will like that. It's like his thing. It's true. He always has that in every movie. Um,
And then this is where we get into, except for Jaws.
shit. You just
Um,
had to do that, didn't you?
this is where there's kids, but no divorce. This is where we get into Malcolm's last words too. This is where he gets into the beyond
Mm.
paradigm thing.
Because
And I think Harding's just like,
he's
what is going
like,
on? Like this
more
guy's making
morphine.
Yeah, he's like, time to end this, and just puts a
At
pillow
this
over his
point, I was
face.
kinda hoping he was dead too. I'm like, "'Kay, Malcolm is getting too many crazy rants here at the end, like, he's gotta die soon." Love the guy, but give him morphine.
It's all right. They're getting through, and so like that whole paradigm thing happens. It's great. Okay, bye, Malcolm. And then the homies start. I wrote homies crawling down a literal rabbit hole. They follow the friggin' little raptor into what they describe as a
They even
rabbit
say
hole,
gaping
and
at
then
one
the
point. How does that like, what the hell was Michael Crichton doing when he wrote that part? It's weird.
and then they just like crawl down it, like literally blindly
They
crawling down a
threaten
hole.
Gennaro too, isn't it Muldoon? He's like, "This is a cattle prod. We'll fuck you up, dude." And he's like, "Great, I guess I'll go down the hole then. Great."
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't do permanent
Yeah,
damage to dinosaurs.
so fucked.
And the Muldoon doesn't go down the hole.
I know. It's just the 3 of them, and Ellie's got a fucking click-on flashlight with, like, a notepad. I was like, "What are you we were just hiding from all these raptors not too long ago, and now we're just turning on some lights and writing notes a couple feet away from them, like, this is insanity." Uh,
Yeah, like by all accounts, there's like at least 65 or no, 50, about 60 dinosaurs down there, which is wild. Like for some reason in my mind, I always imagine this being like way bigger. But like it's gotta be pretty big if there's still 60 dinosaurs down there, like running
yeah.
around because they talk about them like
I view
stopping
it
and
as, like,
stuff.
the size of, like, a bunker under there, basically. So,
Like I think in my mind, I always imagine it as like the siege from fucking
yeah, that's
Dune.
cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. I'll take that.
And the crazy thing though is like I don't. It's also like a weird thing, but like Creighton put so much like description into Gennaro going down this hole and like it like squeeze. I guess he's trying to like trigger the claustrophobic
I
people. You know
think
what I
so.
mean?
It honestly seems like it's from a different book. That's why I was like, okay, this really slowed down, like this whole book. I really lost the speed in the last chapter there. It was very strange. It wasn't bad or anything. It just was like they're creeping around a cave looking at dinosaurs, talking about which way they're looking and trying to figure out like their patterns and stuff, which I was weird.
Yeah, like yeah, because I wrote that too. Raptors arranging in a pattern. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
then we go back.
No, I
Oh,
got
go
nothing.
ahead.
He hit me.
And then we go back to Hammond, and I wrote he thinks he'll live to 100, and then I wrote compies.
It's awesome that they got him.
Do you want to like know like the real theater school kid diving into
You
the
know I
symbolism? Look
do.
at this.
Hit me. Hit me with that.
Do you remember why they bred the
To get rid of
compies?
a vermin.
No, to eat the dinosaur
Oh,
shit because they couldn't get
that's
rid of.
true.
So like the thing that they bred to eat shit is literally
Oh
what
my
ate him.
god. The way they describe it too is so weird. Like he was falling to sleep, but then he could just feel the tug from them biting him. So gross.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of closure in that where like because like remember in the beginning of the book the compies were wreaking havoc and there's like a whole thing where the compies like eat the
Oh my
baby's
god,
face.
yes, how can I forget?
So like I'm taking a little bit of solace in knowing like at least it wasn't you know a bad time. Like you know.
Yeah, he was drugged basically from their saliva, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Which means the baby would have been too, actually.
that's what I mean. It's like, at least the baby didn't like have to
You
suffer through
know,
getting
that
its face
changes
eaten off.
things. I feel okay with it now.
Well, does it makes the
Uh,
dinosaurs feel less evil, doesn't it?
yeah, I never thought the dinosaurs were evil, except for the raptors you keep calling psychos. I'm getting really scared of them every time. Um,
There's definitely psycho raptors. like
oh my god. If we ever do like a slush podcast baseball team, we'll have to have like the psycho raptors will be like our fucking animal on there. Raptor with like the glowing green stuff from the egg being like all tweaked out.
It's our rock band name, the Psycho
Oh my
Raptors.
god. Things we could sell. But yeah,
And then this whole weird fucking beach thing happens. I wrote down, "Why do the Raptors worship the ship?" And
I
I'm
know
like,
they can hear it, right?
"How do they?" Yeah, and I'm like, "How do they identify that as like this is like a migration thing? Like we understand they have this need to migrate, but how are they relating the ship to that? Like that part doesn't make any sense to me."
This one is definitely fucked. Tastes like horrible. Well, because they say the young ones hear it first, right? And then that's how the juvenile raptors know that there's something coming. And then they all follow them because of the sound of the freight, right? The freight ship.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know how they would like be like, "Oh, like there's a fucking giant ship. This is how we get back to the mainland." You know what I
I don't
mean?
really get that either because how do they get on it still?
And I'm like, does it mess with like their like like pigeons have like the thing, like the magnetic things in their brain that help them navigate? So I'm like, does the ship mess with that somehow? I don't know. It seems a bit
I know.
convoluted
I
to
was
me.
like, okay, clearly they're trying to make connections with migrations and birds and the electromagnetic field stuff that they use to sense, because that's the raptors are birds and all that, right? But when they got to the ship part, I was like, so they can hear the ship, and they all like the entire colony goes to the beach just to see the ship, like the entire colony. It's really weird.
You think they would run
I
away
know,
from it? You know what I
and
mean?
the fences are right there too, so it's like a dangerous area for probably the baby raptors. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I get that they're trying to like they really want to talk about like this need of the dinosaurs to migrate, which I think is to build into like another movie or another book. Like, like I think that's where Crichton was really going with the
Yeah,
sequels. Like I don't know where he came up with the second island situation, but we now have the embryos on the mainland that we know about because Hammond
I
said they were
know.
there, and we know dinosaurs are migrating and trying to get to the
Well,
mainland.
I understand that they. It was so funny when they're like, "Do you know what kind of food they were eating? The ones rich in lysine." It's like, dun dun dun, raptors.
It's interesting. It feels like this is gonna be a controversial statement, but it feels like Jurassic World Dominion is closer to what Crichton was building as a sequel in the
No,
original
I
book,
100% agree with you. It's really weird, actually.
which is like I enjoyed Jurassic World Dominion, but it's cooked. Like I think the Lost World was a much more fitting sequel.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that the Jurassic World sequel though was pretty weird. The Dominion, not Dominion, the one they're in the mansion.
Yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
still
about.
don't know about the movie.
The and then the next chapter is the approaching dark, and this is where the helicopters start coming. And I wrote down, "Fortunate Son intensifies." You know that song that they always play in the Vietnam
I think
movies?
so. Sing it for us, Cody.
I can't sing
Damn
that
it.
one, but dude, it's like it's that guitar riff that you always hear.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's funny. You know
Yeah,
what's gonna happen.
yeah. Yeah, and they like it's like somehow Muldoon's on this
Oh
helicopter.
yeah, that's right.
Like Muldoon, they must have been down there for a long time because Muldoon already knows that Hammond's dead. They've picked up the other people from the lodge, and now they're flying back.
Well, they did kind of describe them going through like a lava field or whatever, right? Or like a active. See, that would have been cool in the movie to show that stuff because that could have been neat. Because they describe it as like Yellowstone looking, right? Like all the. Or am I crazy?
Which which seems like a bad place to put a giant underground cistern. You know
How
what I
would they
mean?
even do
Like,
that? They
I don't
couldn't do
know.
that. You
Let's
couldn't
go.
drill into that.
I mean, maybe it's an inactive lava tube that they just like smoothed in the sides with concrete.
Why do transformers have noses?
The thing's supposed to be for flood control,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, this completely breaks down the entire thing. It's kind of funny actually, but why do that?
Yeah,
That's
and then they just like the Costa Ricans just go like full scale like warfare with like just napalming the shit out of the
yeah.
island. I literally wrote the Costa Ricans not taking any
You really
prisoners.
were they?
No.
Because in the novel, The Lost World, do you know whether or not that island is ever they don't go back there, right? It is Site B?
Yeah, no, they're on the other
Shit.
island.
So only in Jurassic World do we ever go back to the island. That's what I like about
Yes.
Jurassic World. I like the old island. That's the one I want them to go to, god damn it.
Well, what's the dude in Jurassic World say? Like, that original park was
Yeah,
legit.
people died. I know the people died, no. I love that. When I remember watching it in the theater, and as soon as they got to that character saying that exact line, it's like, that's all of us right now in the theater. Like, that's so cool. And it's a guy from, New Girl, he's hilarious. What's his name? Nick
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, no, they nailed it. I don't know, like, the Jurassic World movies, you almost have to treat it as a different thing. Like, I think people, when they go to see a sequel, they're like, "I wanna see the same movie that I just like, the
Yeah,
original." And, like, if you wanna see the original, go watch the original.
it's true. There's, like, very few sequels that are really so different that they're incredible, like Terminator 2 or, uh, you know, Aliens is pretty crazy. But even Jurassic Park, like, I know there's 3 in the original movie trilogy, but in my mind, I'm like I like The Lost World and I like Jurassic Park 3, but Jurassic Park, the movie, is the one that made me really love the whole thing, you know? So, I don't know.
See, it's different for me 'cause I think the first one I really like, I know I saw Jurassic Park before I saw Jurassic World or Lost World. Um, but, like, I think I was way too young when I saw
Oh,
Jurassic
yeah.
Park, but I was the right age to see The Lost World. And The Lost World really captured my imagination about the
Dude,
whole
people were
thing.
stoked about a Jurassic Park sequel. The anticipation was crazy, I remember.
And it was just a different movie, like, it was I think that's the problem is, like, you end up like, Jurassic World like, there's a thing, like, Star Wars does it too, where, like, if you wait long enough, you can kind of remake the original
Yeah.
movie, as long as you're faithful to
Yeah.
that. So, like, the thing that Jurassic World did a really good job of was, like, the throwbacks to the original series to the original
Yeah, I
movie.
agree. I feel like the sequel too, like, maybe the reason I didn't like it as much, like, called Fallen Kingdom? Is
Yeah.
because 'cause they're like they started off like a traditional Jurassic movie because 'cause you're going back to the island again, like you always do, right? And then you're not on the island because there is no island anymore, really, and you're in a house that has, like, this supervillain basement where they keep dinosaurs? Question mark.
We just bombed the islands. Now, then they just end up, like, they're just, like, hanging out at a Costa
Yeah,
Rican
yeah, and
hotel.
the dude from the very beginning who's investigating Pompeys, right?
Marty
"Oh, you know
Gutierrez
Marty there."
Gutierrez.
Yeah, he just shows up and basically says, "Get used to this shit. You're stuck here, bitches." Basically.
It it's interesting because like, him and Grant feel like the same person, but Grant studies fossil and Marty studies lizards.
Interesting. They're committed to their craft.
Like, but, like, they're, like, the same dude, you know
Yeah,
what I
cut
mean?
from the same cloth.
Yeah, and then that's when Marty's like, "There's something migrating across, eating all the lysine-rich foods."
It's just him. He's, like, hacking it all down. Yeah.
Well, I was like, "Dude, if there's a herd of critters moving across this island, how come nobody like, how has nobody
I
seen any
know,
of
but
these?"
maybe we had to cast our mind back to the late '80s. That's the problem, right? It's so unimaginable right now, like, they'd have to be so, uh,
He does say, like, that mountain, like, that part of the jungle, like, if you went looking for something, you might not find anything
bas
forever, and it's like, well, then how are people farming up there?
yeah, that's fucking crazy, eh? They're still finding Mayan temples, which I find insane with all the images.
And then, dude, I had a crazy theory, because 'cause they're like 'cause, like, they're talking about, like, oh, like, they might send the kids back, but who knows if they're gonna send us back, and I was like, what if what if the sequel was supposed to be, like, dinosaurs inhabit everything now, like, we're in Jurassic World Dominion. Doesn't make any sense, but somehow dinosaurs just managed to populate. And they're holding on to like the only people that have survived anything like this to be like the dino hunting
Yeah.
squad.
I mean, there'd only be so many well, yeah.
Like this is the part of the movie, especially the late 90s movie where like somebody from the US government would show up and be like, I'm starting a team.
Well, the dinosaur initiative.
They're the Avengers of
They kinda
dinosaurs.
do that in Dominion. So, like, I mean, what you know what? It's so funny that you just watched it, and now if we're all like, "Well, Dominion," you know? But it's true, it is the most, like, science-y, kind of closest to the the novel out of all the movies. It's weird.
Dominion's just like 4 movies too
I
late.
think that Rebirth will really be the closest to the novel, though, from what I've seen. That
Yeah, I do
raft
too.
scene looks, like, pretty fucking wicked, I must say.
But now we're like learning through those trailers. Like, I don't know if anybody's like come out and said it, but like, this is like a real Jurassic Park 3 situation where like they send these people there, but it seems like there's another family there for some
I
reason.
don't know. I don't even understand from the trailer still. I'm like, so there's an island of original dinosaurs. And is this after Dominion or what? When does this take place?
Mm,
I can't tell.
I don't know. But like, there's like this, like, I think the people in the raft scene aren't a Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson.
really?
I think those are like civilians.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. That sounds fun.
Because there's a scene with like a little like, not, it's not a triceratops. My dinosaur knowledge isn't that great, but
Mhm.
there's like a scene of like a not full adult girl with like a baby dinosaur in her backpack, like a lumpy
Really?
situation.
Lumpy. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh, I can't wait to watch this again. Um,
So I think there is going to be a little bit of like that Jurassic Park 3 dynamic where like there's people here that are really up on the dinosaur thing, and then there's people here that just sell tiles.
oh shit. It's true though. They might just sell tiles and be island, you know? It looks good though, I must say. Like it's weird they made another one so quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, you know it's funny though. It kind of has like the whole thing where the other thing it's worth watching um Jurassic World Dominion is like there's a couple things like what's Quetzalcoatlus or whatever the
Hmm.
fuck. Like that's like one of the big baddies in Rebirth, but it was also in Dominion.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I do find it like a little weird that like there's the scenes from the trailer in Rebirth where they're like they go find the Quetzalcoatlus egg, or whatever the fuck it's called, in like an old kind of Mayan looking temple, and Quetzalcoatl's like a Mayan South American deity. It's like, really? Like, and would they really get away with this if there were like ancient ruins there?
I
Like,
don't know. The dinosaurs would just do it. They wouldn't give a fuck, apparently. They know no bounds.
yeah.
But
Well, I like how clean the lab part of it looks. Like that whole part at the beginning where the D-Rex, like, the guy gets trapped behind the door, and then the D-Rex comes and like grabs
yeah,
him, which is right out of the Godzilla
yeah, I keep
movie.
forgetting. Like I know I keep saying the guy who did Rogue One did this. It'll be good. And it's like you'd never guess in the trailers it was him, but I feel like we'll be in for a surprise once it starts. Because it's gonna feel a lot more like a legit movie, I think, than the past couple of Jurassics we've got.
I think it's gonna feel a lot like Rogue One's cool, but I think it's gonna feel like
I
his
didn't
Godzilla
see
movie. And
Godzilla.
like I didn't hate
I
his
didn't even
Godzilla
see it.
movie. Oh, it's
Hmm.
good, man. Is this kind of weird because you're kind of following one dude all the way around the world as he runs from Godzilla.
He's running from him? Is Godzilla after him?
Kinda, and he's Bryan Cranston's son.
That's that guy who's in 28 Years Later, right? He
Maybe
was
that makes
also
sense. Like, it's a
Kick-Ass.
good movie. It's always weird when there's like it's like the Mark Wahlberg thing, where like you're learning like this, in this case, fictional event, but like this historical event, because you're like it's all happening to this one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. No, it's a neat way of telling the story. I mean, it's kinda like that with, yeah, A New Hope. Really, it's all through Luke, kind of, and he's at the corner of the galaxy.
Mhm.
And then you see the prequels and you're like, "Oh shit." That's why people didn't like them, I think. It was just way more. It was way more than people were ready for at the time. Point is, I think that the new Jurassic movie may take place earlier than Dominion because they have like the when dinosaurs rule the earth banners and stuff from Jurassic Park in
Hmm.
there, and it's like, why would they still be doing that stuff if dinosaurs have already been all over the place at this point, you know?
Hmm.
Because people would be fucking sick of dinosaurs and scared of dinosaurs, probably. You know?
Yeah, dude. I like that's like I mean, like I don't understand. Like it just doesn't make any sense that they're like we took like a couple boat. We took a boatload of dinosaurs from this island, and somehow they populated the whole Earth.
I
You
know.
know.
It's kind of weird. It just doesn't make sense. But then again,
Eh,
why do Transformers have noses? Oh, my little light died.
Just put
Um,
Nedry's face over it. Anytime we need to blur something, just put Nedry's
going like
face.
this, the thingy. I could do that actually. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. So, is the book as good as you remember it this time around? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I do think it's every time I read it, I'm like, this book's more and more gory. Like
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if I was like listening to it differently. Well, I was definitely like I think for the podcast, I listened to it with more intent. And maybe that makes me more susceptible to like the gore part of it. Maybe I'm just getting squirmish from my old age, but it's just like,
Wormish in my
holy
old
smokes,
age.
man.
I love it. Oh shit. No, you're right.
The
When
o-
the T-Rex was eating the guy's guts, like the juvie T-Rex, I was like, this is really fucking gross.
the only part that wasn't as horrific as I remember is actually the Hammond death. And for some reason in my mind, I remember that being more horrific.
Yeah, his is kind of a peaceful death. It was just
He got off
scary.
way easier than Nedry or even
Nedry's
Regis.
really gross.
Yeah, like they're all like what was the scientist name? Henry. Henry like got off pretty horrifically. Like,
Guts were out. So gross.
he's like literally fighting the raptor as it's eating his insides.
Oh god, yeah. I forgot about that. That was a good time for old Dr.
How about
Wong.
you? You've listened must have listened to this like you put like we've probably put 100 like 'cause we've listened to this over and over again before podcast.
I don't even know. I've actually lost count. At one point, I think I was at work and I was like, I'll put on this audiobook. Yeah, the audiobook. I'll listen to the chapter. I forget where I was. Then I was like, wow, I listened to an hour and 45 minutes of that straight last night and the night before and the night before. And it just goes on, months and months backwards because I've re listened to them so many times. I have no idea how many times I've heard it now. More than anything I've ever heard in my life, probably.
Mhm.
Like, I'll never forget Jurassic Park ever. It'll never happen. Which I'm really happy with. That's why I wanted to do this podcast series because I love the movie so much, and I always meant to read the book, and I wanted to make sure I did a good job that was thorough. You know, like I read the book like I would have for an assignment in school, you know? And I can definitely say that we went through the book pretty thoroughly, you know? Holy shit. I think our podcast count is longer than the book, the audiobook. So
It definitely well, yeah.
but that's cool though because you could take them as a companion and you could listen to it if you were so
Mhm.
committed, you know? But yeah, I think it's
And it's
good.
cool. It's only like bigger and better things from here because like obviously we have a whole nother book to do.
Yeah,
But
I'm
then like
stoked.
there's so many different ways that we can go with the new stuff. Like do we I think it would be cool to sit down and do like our own commentary for the movie where it's
That
like
would
we're
be
gonna do a
awesome.
podcast. It's
Okay.
like you start it now, like we're gonna start the movie in 3, 2, 1, and here we go.
That would be so cool. We should do it.
And then it's just like it's on us because obviously we can't, copyright and bullshit.
Yeah.
But we're watching Jurassic Park.
No, that's a
I don't
really good
even
idea. I
I don't
would
even know how
love
that
to
works
do
with the audio.
I think that what we would probably have to do we figure it out. It
We still
can't
have to
be
watch it
hard.
with headphones probably.
Yeah, we would record and watch, and they would be as separate channels or something, and I think that would be awesome. And I wanna do a group watch of like, I think we should do, a group watch with everybody for Jurassic as well, just where
Mhm.
we all, like do our thoughts afterwards. It'd be hilarious just to bring everybody in at the end. Oh my god, so funny.
And then you still have to stream playing the video game. Did you try that game? Is it
I'm
cooked?
looking at it right now. It's plugged into my TV. Cora and I have been playing Contra. We're trying to beat the two-player Contra, which we probably will play after this actually. Um, but I'm saving Jurassic Park until I can like, I want to like do deep dive. Like when I play a video game, I get so committed to it. That's all I think about when I'm playing it. Uh, it's how much stuff I've read about it because I really want to get into it. So I want to have like the manual printed off. I want to like have my notes written down for the game. You know, this will be my first Sega game I've ever beaten in my life, which is
That's wild.
crazy. Yeah, like this will be the first one. And the Sega controllers you can plug into the Atari and they work, which is weird. Yeah, it's the same
That
port.
that's weird.
Who would have thought? But yeah, Sega. I remember they always had the gory Mortal Kombat because Super Nintendo's was censored.
Mhm.
So Sega was like the cool kid system back when I was a kid. The bad kid. But I'm stoked to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing we had to do is the giveaway for the Raptor resonating chamber.
Right.
Now that my system's all messed up. It's
That's
3D printed.
so cool.
It doesn't make any noise, unfortunately, but I'm still in the process of painting it. There's a little. You got the good side, the bad side still needs to have a
That's
couple
awesome,
sprays.
man. Well done.
But yeah.
That's so cool.
So I don't know if anybody remembers, but we did a thing where if you wrote "clever girl" in the YouTube comments, that you would win it, and only one person did it. So Michael -2112, I'm gonna shoot you a message on YouTube,
That's
and
awesome.
I'll mail you a Raptor resonating chamber. Sorry for the wait. We would have done it sooner, but
Oh my
this is the first
goodness.
time we
This
podcasted
is so
since.
funny. That's awesome though. That's a good idea. I mean, who wouldn't want to get a Raptor resonating chamber from a YouTube video comment? I mean,
Yeah, I did have like a whole thing, and then obviously my computer fell apart. So
yeah.
we're gonna iron out the wrinkles.
Cuts to you with tons of computers. No, that's cool. It's neat that you're doing that. That's fun. It's such a like it's cool. I wish you could tell yourself as a kid you'd be doing that later on in life. You're like, yeah, you're gonna 3D print the exact same resonating chamber and give it out on your podcast.
Well, dude, I'm like getting set up now to start printing my Commander Cody costume.
Whoa.
Yeah, I do like full scale. Like I'm gonna print the helmet in one go.
Dude, I really want to have Clone Wars armor, but I want to do like vacuum form stuff.
Yeah,
But it's like,
but you can do that. Like you can well, like I don't know, if vacuum form's better, dude.
I don't know. You probably just
You,
3D print it, right?
well, that's like literally what I'm like. I'm like my is a whole set of armor.
How big of a piece can you print? Like in one go?
Like easily, I can easily print like the helmet without even thinking about it.
What?
Yeah, like my printer's like it's like 48 by 48 by 50 or something, or 44
Crazy.
by 44 by 50.
So could you print like a whole chest plate in one piece?
Not for me.
Hmm.
I could definitely print it as halves and then weld it together in the center.
Oh, how do you do that?
Like literally just heat it up,
Oh, that's
or
cool.
like sometimes like depending on what you print, um, like if you're printing ABS, you can use like acetone, and then like it just like
Oh,
liquefies and welds together in the middle on its
that's
own.
so cool. Oh, that's neat.
But I literally bought a 5 kilo roll of PLA, and I'm trying to rig up my printer because like obviously the holder I have in my printer is not capable of holding 5 kilos. So like I'm doing a thing now where I've got like it on like a bigger holder, and then I'm running it over like two pulleys. I'll take pictures when I get it all set up to feed in, so I can just feed it straight instead of like having 1 kilo rolls and having to change them 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool that you're doing that because I don't really know anybody. Like I know that it's popular and they do it at lots of Comic Cons and stuff and build prop stuff, but you're the only person I know who actually owns one and is doing it. So that's really kudos to you, sir.
Free time and money.
You should build a pulse rifle. My God,
Totally.
That would be
Well, and
awesome.
like to be fair, the hard part of this is like drawing it, right? Like I didn't draw any of this Commander Cody costume. I just like bought it on Etsy.
That's okay though. It's just a file, right?
Yeah, yeah, and like it was like shout out to the guys on Etsy. I like that were doing this, but I actually bought the Commander Cody costume and I bought a War Machine costume.
Cool. War Machine would be crazy.
Yeah, well, I want to do the War Machine Punisher mashup.
Oh, I feel like I have seen that, but I don't remember it exactly.
Yeah, it's out there.
There's like a War Machine Venom one. There's been a Venom everything lately, I feel like.
Yeah.
God damn it. That
There's
guy
also like
won.
at one point in like the one point there was in the Civil War that Captain America dies and and Frank Castle becomes Captain America.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was like I think that was relatively short lived, but yeah, Captain America Punisher is a wild concept.
That's so weird, but it's so good for a story. So weird. Maybe they'll do that in the movie eventually. It's
Who
that guy
knows?
from Walking Dead. He's the like Captain America. That would be really weird.
Yeah, he's not my favorite Punisher. Like I think he's a good actor. He's just like kind of too ragey.
Yeah, he is. I'm like, you're probably like that in real life. I'm so sorry. Um,
Well, there was like a thing. He was like a baseball player or something. And then he did like first year acting in university.
oh really?
Yeah, he wasn't like we like supposedly he didn't go into university trying to be an actor. Oh, is that a comic?
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah, dude. They
Wow. We
came
should
out
do
with the
that movie,
movie.
man.
Yeah, I would love to do The Abyss. We should. I would be down to do a bunch of James Cameron stuff, to be honest.
There's no like Abyss book before
I
the Abyss, is
don't
there?
know, actually. I've never looked into that.
So
There,
like that might be like a good kind of like one shot, you know what I mean?
I'd love to do Sphere, actually, someday.
I've never seen Sphere.
Holy shit, that movie was fucking awesome. It's like a sci-fi horror, but like the sci-fi is so good and the horror is so good in it that you're like, check, check. I'll watch that again. Like it's a good movie. Dustin
Mhm.
Hoffman, fucking Sam Jackson and Sharon Stone are in it. They're stuck underwater. Oh my god, and they find the sphere in that spaceship. It's so good. You gotta
That's
see it.
funny. Sounds so much like the Abyss, actually.
Well, it's yeah, that's true. Never thought of
What
it.
if the Abyss is a prequel to Aquaman?
I've never seen Aquaman actually.
It's
Like ever.
visually very interesting, but doesn't hold a lot of water.
First Alien
Oh.
and Predator fight.
Dude, did you see they're bringing Ryan Gosling in to be
Is
a
that
Black
true?
Panther?
Is
I
that
don't know. I
actually
can't.
true?
I bet you they're saying it's not true. It's not true. It was a joke.
Like that can't be true. People would not
I
be
hope
okay with that, right? Ryan Gosling's in the new Star Wars movie.
he's in Hail Mary too.
Oh, that movie's gonna be wicked, I bet.
Dude, I'm so stoked for it.
Me too. I have the book here. I gotta read it. I was reading a whole bunch of books and then I stopped suddenly because I read so many books in a row at that point that I got booked out. Like I got to the point where Cora's little sister gave me a book for my birthday before everybody did, and it was what the fuck is it? It's like one of those old-timey famous books from like this is a terrible description, like the early 1900s about drinking. It's like totally not something I would ever buy or take from the library. But I felt bad, right? Because she gave it to me. So I was like, yeah, I'll read it this weekend. Like all cocky, like I'm gonna crush this book. Anyways, I did because it was so fucking good. It was so good. It's one of the best novels I've ever read in my life. I think about it all the time. Fuck, I wish I could remember what it's called, but yeah. Why are we talking about this?
We're just talking about books and like books we
Right.
like.
Yeah, this was a great read. Fucking Jurassic
Yeah,
World, man.
I just did the. Oh, I get another point about Jurassic Park before we get too far away. But I just did the audiobook for The Cat That Walks Through Walls, which is like a Heinlein book.
Oh,
It's so funny because I love Starship Troopers so much,
yeah.
but then everything else I've read by Heinlein has been absolutely fucked.
Oh,
And
really?
like the cat through walk through walls is like no different. I was like, this book, what the fuck is going on? Like there's like weirdly sexual and like
What?
like with like incest and stuff like that. I'm like,
What?
this is not what I wanted to read from in a sci-fi book.
Yeah, he's like credited as being one of the OG hard sci-fi writers, right? Like for military sci-fi.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It was like, and like there's a sequel to that book, sort of. I'm like, do I even want to read that? Like, just really struggling with it, to be honest.
That is amazing and makes me want to read it because it sounds fucked. I don't know if I have any more of his books. I have some more Arthur C. Clarke books here and Michael Crichton. Like I have the
Mm.
Andromeda Strain here.
Yeah,
Um, and I have Congo. Didn't he write Sphere? Is that not a
yeah,
well, fuck?
pretty
We have
sure.
to do that. We should read Sphere.
The other thing I wanted to shout out, because I think you and I have the same audiobook version, and I'm gonna double check this before I make it up.
I'll
But
check
shout
mine.
out to fucking Scott Brick, I think is his name, right?
Yes, it is because I felt the same way and I looked him up because I was like, man, he really makes the voices distinguishable, like and puts in the effort.
Dude, I've literally looked up audiobooks now, just like if I'm like trying to find something to download, and I'm like, oh, what's Scott Brick done lately?
What's old Scotty done? What's he read?
He's probably dead now, but like
Oh
still though,
my
like
god. Maybe. Do you think?
but like shout out to that dude, man, because holy hell, man, like way to make something. I
R.I.P.
can't imagine what
Scotty.
audiobook acting's like. I'm gonna Google now if Scott Brick's dead.
I am. Scott, are you all right? Okay, I'm gonna ask Grok. I've been using that a lot.
Oh no, he's not dead. He actually looks like a guy I might fight, but no,
Oh
he's
my
fine.
god, you would fight Scott Brick? He's gonna find this. Grok is
He's like
like,
a big audiobook guy, yeah. Yeah, no, he's still
"Ah,
alive.
he's teaching."
Dude,
Okay.
he's been an audiobook dude or like an actor since 1989.
What? I found his Twitter thingy. This must be him, right? Oh, you can't see that.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's him. Scott Brick. It's probably not. No, that's him. I really wanted to get a hardcover of Jurassic Park, but I couldn't justify buying another version. I was like, I already own the book. I'll just read it. It's right here, you know? But I never
Well, you
got
know
my
most of the book. You know, you'll never get that part that Darcy rolled up for joint filters, probably.
right there. I haven't even told Darcy that we did this whole series yet. That's so funny.
um, yeah, I bet you he'd be a good person to have on,
Yeah,
actually.
we should have him on sometime. That would be so cool. So what do we do after
Oh
this?
my.
Are we gonna watch the movie?
I feel like yeah, I feel like, but it's just like, we're not in the same place. Although
Oh,
I'll probably be in Nova Scotia in about a month.
oh, right. Do you mean Rebirth or the original?
Oh, I meant the original,
Well,
but
we could do
Rebirth
a
is a
watch
thing too.
party too. Or can we can't record that though with the audio, can we?
But that might actually um streamline it because if we do a watch party, then we can isolate the audio from the movie.
True. Yeah, that's true. I'll look into how I do that because that would be the next thing I think that would be fun to do for the Jurassic stuff, in my
This is
opinion.
where you guys get the VR headset. I mean, we'll all watch Jurassic Park in VR
Don't
headsets.
even, man. I've like that's slowly working its way up of priorities in my life because I think it's so cool. And I think that for me being in bed with Bennett all the time at night, like I hate looking at my phone.
Mhm.
Sucks. If I had the headset, there's no light spill, which is huge. And it's
Mhm.
like I'm at the movie theater in my helmet. Like, why are we even talking about this? Let's get it, you know? I'm so serious right now, though. I wish I could get the Apple one, but that's like, you
It's
know,
crazy.
like unattainably expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like you need to find somebody that thought they were rich and realized they weren't and now need to sell it to like pay rent money.
Yeah.
Like that's a pawn shop purchase.
Yeah. Fuck, it would be cool though. I was thinking about going to try it, but I'm like, what's the point? You know, I need like an evening with that. I need to watch a
Yeah.
movie, browse, play a game, experience some cool stuff with it. You could rent it. That would be really cool.
Dude, like they used to rent video game consoles in like convenience stores.
We used to get those. We would rent our VCR as well. We would rent a VC. You know, it was a crazy weekend in the 80s. If you were going to rent a VCR and a movie, and you were going to rent an NES all at the same time, they would come in like the briefcases with the little. It was so cool. What an experience back then. Well, my monitor's going to go dead here. I
All
can't
right,
even
that means
believe.
we got.
I can't believe I got out of there. Holy shit. I was like,
Matt's basically in the raptor nest.
that's what it feels like. I love Bennett. Core and I are gonna do a toddler talks, I think, later this week because me and her haven't done a toddler talks together in like months. But like, yeah, it honestly seems like I don't know how, but like half of doing stuff for Bennett got really easy, and the other half of doing stuff for Bennett got harder than it has been for like a year. It's so weird. It's just because of the growth of his mind and he's overthinking things and like being more active and like it's been really bizarre because everything that we knew we were doing changed again because he like evolved to the next Pokemon, you know? Like he's like no longer a Squirtle. He's whatever the next thing is. So, yeah, it's
What?
cool.
War turtle. He's a war turtle.
Yeah, he's one of those. Like, it's really cool that he evolved, but it's almost like you gotta refigure everything out again. But it's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
the same Squirtle deep down, you know? I don't know. I should probably watch more Pokemon. Um, but yeah. All right, you can do our signing off thing 'cause you're the man on this.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out, you dino-ding-dong. Sorry for the delay. I can't promise you there won't be another one. But, subscribe, follow, do all those things. Really, you should have done that at the beginning, but here we are. Hopefully you liked it enough. Maybe we'll do more giveaways of like dino ding dongery. Like, let us know what you want. And stay tuned for whatever this turns into next, besides just a book review.
Well, he said he wanted to do a tentacle one. We could print some tentacles.
Yeah, we could. Bye.